Hey gang, look like shit. Nobody ever watches any of my stuff anyway because I'm the wrong color. Because a lot of what I say, a couple of my brothers from another mother say the same things with the same kind of headings and get thousands of views, but it just has to be a disproportionate time to be, well, I guess I don't have to say I'm white anymore. I'm Irish German / American. That makes me a minority. So you better show me some respect. Anyway, I'm going to try to help somebody. My little best friend, my dog, Max, got sick. And we finally had to lay him down today. It was too much. He had liver problems, and they said thyroid problems, and a couple other things. But here's what I'm trying to warn you about, okay? Because even though we were kind of seemingly working our way through it and the dog wasn't completely gone, once the veterinarian saw the low thyroid numbers and insisted we had to add these thyro tabs, THYRO tabs, to work on his thyroid, which is now, there used to be 10 different companies making this stuff. Now somebody backdoored something with the FDA because they monitor prescription dog meds too, and only this one company can sell it. And immediately after putting him on that, everything bad accelerated, and the dose was cut, and in less than 2 weeks he's dead. So you guys at the thyro tab people, THYRO tab, Google it, it'll tell you the manufacturer. Don't let them give your dog this crap. Just don't do it. Maybe if the only issue the dog has is thyroid, but I get it. Max had liver issue, and of course any other medicine has to go through the liver, which strains the liver. So I understood the risk we had to take with an antibiotic because he had a lung infection and bronchitis. So I get that. Okay. But the thyroid could have waited, because liver will kill you, thyroid will kill you, and they'll both conditions will mimic each other in the blood charts. Look it up, Google it, for you dog lovers out there. But I think I had some time left with my dog that was taken away from me due to a normal vet doing what they do, trying to multitask and multi-treat differing diseases at the same time, putting extra strain on different body parts. Because since his system was weakened then anyway, that I looked at the side effects for the thyroid medication, and under the neurological side effects, he didn't just have a couple, he had all of them. All of them. And now he's dead. And so he's going to be in the back of my head. He had his time to go anyway, but it didn't work. So vets are not always open, right? And of course, all this crap you read online that they'll all come to the house and help you euthanize your dog and all that, so it's peaceful. Yeah, good luck finding anybody that's going to get off that ass and help you in your hour of need, now that it's the end of the rope and you've got your $1,000, because it ain't cheap. And then in the middle of all that, then she wanted to send him out for ultrasounds and CT scans of the brain. And it ain't just this vet. They all do it, right? So that's the deal. If you have an animal that's suffering, and that part of its liver, knowing everything else goes through the liver, and you can't live without a liver, why treat anything until the liver's right? Why put any stress on the liver? Because the rest don't matter. And I followed the instructions, and I'm always going to beat myself up over this one. That's why family members aren't going to get this tape to watch. I'm just trying to help somebody out there to maybe look into this company and Google this company and see if we can find out why there were 10 companies and now there's only one company, and apparently the product isn't all that great. And you can't do a deep dive trying to get information online. It's like pulling teeth. So we were sent home with a liquid opioid pain medication, and in theory would last 5 days, but he just started to deteriorate too bad. And so what you all need to hear is this part too, is that, look, I'm on opioid therapy, right? I've been hurt for a long time, and the drug that would, in theory, treat my condition that is out now and been out for a few years, that's non-addictive and non-opioid, there's still no insurance company that will cover it because the opioids are still the cheapest. They're about as cheap as a Bayer aspirin. So there's no insurance company that's going to give a flying rat's ass about opioid abuse, death, or anything. But anyhow, since it was not available to me to get the dog relief, I said, well, they gave me 5 days worth of this liquid opioid pain medicine. Maybe I can take him out of his misery by giving him all 5 days. Nothing. So I said, well, they keep telling me my oxycodone is so damn deadly. I gave him the equivalent for his size. My dose is a 10 milligram pill. I gave him the equivalent for his size of me taking 24 of my oxycodone pills in one handful. He didn't even lose consciousness. Okay? Didn't even lose consciousness. So they're hiding something from us on this crap. Because obviously, if I took 24, I would expect to be dead by the time they hit my system. Because that's what all the info says. So he's 20 pounds. He got 5 days worth of the liquid opioid pain med. It's some long name with a B, that's why I'm not telling you what it is, which did nothing. Even though they had given it to him through his veins while they had him putting fluid in him. And because it had him so knocked out, he seemed halfway peaceful enough, so I took him home. Where had they let me see the dog in his real condition, I would have ended his suffering and not taken him home. So you wonder, is that a, conscious or unconscious money play? Who knows? So, like I said, I'm 230 pounds. I take a 10 milligram oxy 3 times a day. So I take 30 milligrams. My dog is 18 pounds. So after that, I crushed it up and put it in solution and used a syringe in his, so he wouldn't, because pills are hard to get down, even though they're small. So I gave him 60 milligrams on top of the other stuff of oxycodone, which should have taken him out of his misery nice and peacefully. They said the first thing he should have done was lose consciousness, and then the way the opiates affect the breathing, he should have had his diaphragm and his breathing slow way down and stop. And then while unconscious, the heart stopped. Nice, peaceful, painless death. Nothing. And upon, talking upset about it with a family member, we did the math and said, that's the same thing as me taking, instead of taking my 3 during the day, weight-wise is the same as if I took 24 in one dose. So what is it they're lying to us about? Because apparently this shit is not anywhere near as deadly as they say, or my dog would have peacefully drifted off into sleep, since I couldn't get him the attention he needed to take him out of his misery, which I could have done the day before, but his condition was masked from me due to an overdose of intravenous drugs, which I guess was probably just to get me to take him home so that there's one more bill to pay. Who knows? You gotta feel like that way after a while. The doctor seemed very nice to me, but certain people at the desk and his staff don't understand that people going through these things are emotional, and they have to be able to deal with that. And I don't care that you're a receptionist at a vet clinic and somehow you think you got some little position of authority and you're going to tell me how I need to talk and how I need to act and how I'm going to wait my turn behind these dogs getting their frickin' toenails clipped, because the doctor knows the dog is in bad shape and said if he's the same or worse in the morning once the intravenous drug wears off, bring him in so we can make sure he doesn't suffer. When I'm being told I need to wait my turn. Well, of course, I didn't wait my turn. And I got things handled. But I almost had to do it myself, because apparently, I don't know what it is. I guess it's with people too. Apparently it's so damn hard to hit a vein for some people, they shouldn't be trying to do it. So that's it. I'm trying to help somebody maybe save themselves some grief and some money. So I'll be back again on it. It's real hard, man. There's two things that are real hard. I tried to do a deep internet dive about the thyroid medicine that turned everything worse or accelerated it so quickly you can't get it. And try getting information about opioid deaths, what caused them, how much causes them, what happens as you go through it. You would think wouldn't be such a deep dive. I couldn't find it out for a person or an animal. It's not like you're going on looking for a suicide plan. It's normal kind of things you would do about any drug. How many milligrams negates an overdose? And if an overdose is accidentally done, how many milligrams does that become serious where you need to seek immediate attention? Simple questions, and you would think would be available, but none of the stuff is available. So there's something up with this stuff, with all of it, because he should have been nice and peacefully drifted away, since for whatever reason the vet said just come on in, which I guess call and come in. I guess I made the mistake of making the call this morning so I could get told that there were only 2 appointments for euthanasia for the day, 2:45 and 3:45. Where I guess I should have just walked in, because my vet was off for the day, but the vet on duty was fully aware of the situation and was prepared to come in and help me. But like I said, I couldn't get handled at the door, which this is just my story, not about the tabs. And she just wasn't going. I said, hey, I need to get taken back. I called. Max isn't any better. We need to take care of him. And you're going to have to wait until I get finished with this lady here. And she's just dragging it out. I could see the woman customer seeing my dog in distress. I could see the emotion in her eyes saying I could get my receipt in 5 minutes. Would you take care of the guy? So she finally takes me in the room with a little more education about how things run in the office, and says, someone will be back here shortly. I says, I don't know what shortly means to you, but someone will be back here to help me now. And I got the stink eye, and I opened the door that goes out into the lab where there's a tech, which is, they're a whole lot different attitude once you get off the front desk. I said, look, this is what I'm here for. This is the crap I got at the front desk and the crap I got on the phone earlier today. And now I'm being told somebody will get back here when she decides to tell the vet I'm here. More or less, I said, I need the vet now, or put a catheter in for me because I don't know how, and give me the medication, and I'll do it. And if you don't want to do that, just look in the direction of where it is and I'll take care of it. This is crazy. But in the back, they took care of it. So there's my story. And whoever knows, right? Whoever knows when somebody's time is up, man. If they could have had an easier way out, right? Because all I wanted was for the poor little guy to just not wake up, not to suffer from not to suffer, suffer, not to suffer just from the condition itself and the neurological stuff with it, but to suffer from side effects due to meds that I'm really blaming the one, and it's easy to, because like I said, he had every one of the neurological side effects, and somebody's got to be in bed with the FDA that the 9 other companies were told they were no longer able to produce the generic drug. And then it goes into a whole other story about generic drugs, which I already knew anyway. So if you're still with me, and you're probably not, this is for people too. A brand name drug is a brand name drug, and what's in it is what's in it. And there's only a couple of percentage points as far as dosing that it can be up or below what's labeled on the bottle. Any generic drug, talking people now, it's the same for animals, but people now. Any generic drug is simply in the same family of drugs as the original and thought to have similar effects, except their plus or minus tolerance of the dosage marked on the bottle can be up or down 10%, which is a huge deal. But, just like it is, you're like me, we all got to go to the doctor, and what? Freaking insurance company won't let us have the real drug. Do your dive. Look up generic drugs. It's not hidden. It's not that a patent ran out and you're getting the same thing. You're just not. That's why if you've ever had things for pain or whatever, sometimes you'll get one, you go, whoa, that was a strong one. Or, man, that didn't help any. And shit's all coming from China anyway. Right? The place that can't even make a safe jerky treat and can't paint a child's toy without getting them sick. So the Chinese are on to us, and I'm on to them. I'm on to them hard. They didn't like my president, right? So they ran through a series of distractions. Think about it. COVID-19, distraction. Let them screw unconstitutionally with election laws. Then that comes out before anything can go anywhere. Distraction 3, Hunter Biden, money laundering. Distraction 4. Do I even remember distraction? Yes, distraction 4 is the infamous cyber attack on all the American systems and government. And distraction number 5 blame the Russians. Well, it's China that's got all the knowledge and the money. Russia, financially and all that now, is about equal to the state of Florida. So it's not the old Soviet Union. So they're not out to start any trouble just to do it. China is. So my dog's name was Max. So unlike Chaz or Chud or whatever it was in Portland, I have a house that sits on a piece of ground that I have now declared the autonomous country of Max. Therefore, I no longer need to adhere to any laws or restrictions of my county, state, or federal government because I am my own country, just like what they set up in Portland. So don't come visit me unannounced because I live in an autonomous zone. And unless I say so, you're not welcome here. And it's time more of us did this. And it's time for the states to do it. And it's time for us to be America and get rid of United States. Just like the Soviet Union went away and became Russia and became a series of countries. So our series of states need to become series of independent countries. And to all of you of any race at all that lost anyone in the nursing homes in New York City due to the fact that Andrew Cuomo sent the sick back to the nursing homes to spread the disease and kill people rather than send them to the Javits Center that President Trump put up at no cost to New York, rather than send them to the ship that President sent New York at no cost. 12,000 people died for no reason. And this is long. Please get to the end because it's very important. Because now he's on TV, Andrew Cuomo. He's got a $25,000 a year pay raise for killing 12,000 people. And he's on there saying, and I'm going to have a very superb Christmas this year because I worked hard and I did a phenomenal job in the way that I handled COVID in New York. 12,000 dead in the nursing home, needlessly. Really, really, really. So, I'm out. I'm done. Right? China, I ain't take Xi Jinping. I ain't taking the knee, brother. When it's my turn, come see me. I'll grab the gun and put it in my mouth for you. And I'll even give it a little foreplay before your guy pulls the trigger. I'm not going to be Chinese. I no longer have a country because we never had an election. And I will never bow the knee to Joe Biden. He's not my president. 64 years old. I've never said that. I've had elections go my way and not my way. But my president was attacked from the moment he announced candidacy. And now I'm being told that I'm just an idiot, ignorant Trump supporter and people like me shouldn't even be allowed to work anywhere. And I just need to learn how to move on and get it over with. Well, they investigated my president for the entire 4 years. It's not even Inauguration Day and I'm just supposed to freaking move on. Hey, people, you gotta wake up. Get rid of whatever damn something hyphen American that some idiot has convinced you to use. And just go back to calling yourself American. I don't give a damn. They're right? And don't go to this, now we can't get the vaccine to the highest risk group of people, which is 65 and over, because there's more white people 65 and over in that age group than any other race. And we need to make it equitable. Well, guess what? this country, the majority of this country, that meaning, yeah, the majority, the most prevalent race in this country is Caucasian. So it doesn't matter which freaking age group you're going to check. If there's more Caucasians than anything else, the theory would be right. In any age group of people, there's going to be more white than anything else. There's no way to level that out. But they did say that doing it this other way, 6,000 people minimum would die because they would be withheld the treatment they need, so that a 20-year-old minority could get it, but people in that age bracket have a 99.79% chance of surviving having caught the disease. So the numbers game act stupid, and then they were bitching again about we need to give it to the prisoners because using the percent of the population that's black. Of course, don't worry about any other population that's not white. It's always just black. Think about that with how many races we got here. That we need to give it to them in the jail first. Or the 20-year-old that's working at the convenience store first. But they're not going to get sick. They don't die. They recover. So there's what's going on. That's why I've backed off. I can't, right? So will I take a knee? No, because then you'll think I'm caught up in this. Oh, what I meant to forget to include is, if you go to these cities where they cry about the inequality of the amount of blacks in prison, they're generally, and it's the truth, I ain't making it up, it's usually black mayors and black chief of police. So if you're not getting a fair shake there, and then the one that wants to call herself a black vice president, Kamala Harris, her mother is from India, full-blood Indian from India. Her father's full-blood Jamaican from Jamaica. How in the hell does that become African American? And in the same token where we have a disproportionate amount of blacks in jail, so they need to get the vaccine more than high-risk people because they happen to be in the Caucasian race, which at this point in time is not a race that gets any respect or anybody in this country gives a damn about. Okay? She alone, as Attorney General of California, jailed as many blacks as she could get her hands on for smoking marijuana. So there it is. Hate to break it to you guys, but your freaking systemic racism doesn't exist. And when it does, it's controlled by people of your own race, which is generally how racism works. It's usually people of the same race perpetrating it against people of the same race. But in my country, why is it always just black? We have a lot of races here. You only hear about one, black. And then you only hear about the other one in a bad light, meaning mine. Where, look it up, go back to the Civil War, and you find out how many white soldiers died to get those slaves freedom. White soldiers died. No country on the face of the earth has done more for the Negro race than the Caucasian race in this country, in the history of the world. It's not hard to look it up. Look up what they're doing in Africa now. There's still black on black slavery in Africa. It's mainly sugar cane. Look it up. There's some coffee and a few other things. Look it up. They answer a job ad. And then from then it's all over with. Guess what? You're here for life and you ain't getting paid. And if you don't like it, we'll whip you a little harder. That's in Africa. And the other side of the coin is we close, as someone said on TV today, if there's so much systemic racism here and all there is white privilege and everybody else is going to have to suffer a worthless, painful, pitiful life, then why does the whole world want to move here? But to go back to the other thing with all the corruption, I'm ready to kneel in twofold. I won't take the one knee, because then you'll get confused, because there is no systemic racism. And yeah, look up Baker Act. Someone called it Anonymous Baker Act on me once. I'm a white guy. That means there's no arrest and no charges. 3 cops show up unannounced at my front door, all white. When I open the door, 3 9mm pressed tightly against my forehead. When I was told, never told Baker Act, was told, somebody said you left a voicemail and you were agitated on it, and they felt you might be agitated enough that you might want to harm yourself or someone else. I said, did the recording say I was threatening to harm myself or someone else? No, they just said you sounded agitated. So you need to come with us so we can take you in the ER and have you looked at. Okay, I'll follow you in my car. No, you won't do that. You'll come with us. Are there charges against me? No. Am I being placed under arrest? No. Okay, then I'll follow you up there. Hey, pal, you don't understand what I'm saying to you. If we got to knock you down on your fat ass and tie you up and hog tie you, you're coming up with us that way, thrown in the back of a squad car, and we'll leave your door wide open, and if all your stuff gets stolen, we don't give a damn. And if your poor little dog who's dead now runs out in the street and gets hit by a car, all the better. I said, well, and nobody will hear this, but God will. I said, hey, just been diagnosed. The tendon in my shoulder is almost tore all the way through. I put the dog up. I'll come with you to play a little game. Please don't rip my shoulder apart. Out come the handcuffs. Why do we need handcuffs? I'm not under arrest. It's policy. Put your arms behind your back. Now. Said, you didn't hear anything about my shoulder? You can't just cuff me in front. No, shut up. And my arms were wrenched behind me and the cuffs were thrown on. Out to the car we go. It's a frickin' Mustang. That guy's got the front seats all the way against the back. No leg at all. Said, hey, any chance you could move the seat up so I could at least sit? Shut up and just get in, and they threw me in. So I had to be in a laying position, and I felt a pain in my shoulder. So we finally get to the ER, and we're just sitting there, and this guy's writing out paperwork or some shit. I said, look, I played your game, we're finally here, and I'm feeling a butcher knife in that shoulder I asked you to leave alone. So, since nothing else has worked, can I respectfully request medical attention? Okay, great. Now what are you laughing at? I'm laughing because we'll go inside that hospital when I good motherfucking decide we're going to walk in and not a minute sooner. So if you're just suffering back there, just sit back there and shut the fuck up, because I don't want to hear you whining in pain. So the rest of the story, couldn't get no help, can't get a lawyer because lawyer won't do anything against a cop. We aren't talking about a free lawyer, talking about a paid for lawyer. Internal Affairs would look into anything, do anything. Just laughed about the whole thing. So yeah, we finally did go inside. I was screaming like a madman. in pain. Not nuts, in pain. So finally a doctor comes up, takes me in the room. Said, man, what's going on? I said, man, I know they did. They tore the rest of my shoulder apart. It's excruciating. And I've asked for medical attention out there 3 times, and the guy laughs at me. So I figure now that we're inside, if I just start screaming at the top of my lungs, somebody will pay attention, and you did. And the doctor said, well, first thing we need to do is get you some pain meds. We'll do that right now. And did they tell you why you're here? No, they just told me I'm not under arrest, but they were going to do all this physical shit to me to bring me up here. And then she explained to me, and then they did their deal, and she said, you shouldn't have been brought in. I've checked you out. You're not unstable mentally. I'm sorry, really sorry you went through this, and yeah, the pain level you're at, you're right, they probably did tear your tendon in your shoulder the rest of the way through, and you probably aren't going to be able to get any remedy for that legally. It's wrong, but it's how it is, and I'm sorry you're going through that. But my job at this point is to end the needless pain and abuse you've been going through here and get you released as quick as I can, which is what happened. So there you go. So anybody got the balls to listen to 36 minutes? Let's find out. I'm out.